I was reminded this weekend as I reflect on the subject of this video, which is suffering comes from your thoughts. And I really gleamed a new appreciation for this knowledge. Some backstory on this is my best friend died June 26th this year, and she was on a board that I'm on, and we do a ladies retreat. And there were some things that she had that I needed to get from her husband. So I went and got the stuff picked up, and there was books and notebooks and journals. And we ran across this one thing she had in her room, and it was a jar. And she had put notes in there of what she was releasing to God. And so he dumped that stuff out, said, you can take this and go through it and get rid of it. I don't even want to look at that stuff. And, first off, it really hits me in the face that all that stuff, memorabilia, stuff she kept from the retreats, all that stuff, what do you do with that stuff when they're gone? And yet it's sentimental and it's meaningful. And so as I brought it home, and yesterday I started going through this stuff. And, we have some other friends. I thought, oh, she would like this, or she would like that, or maybe some of these books people would like to have that were hers. And then I began to go through the journals. This is where she journaled about what she struggled with, her insights, and there's a part in recovery that we do that's an inventory. And there were about 3 inventories in all this stuff that she'd done over the years. And it really smacked me in the face that over the years that a lot of the stuff that she had wrote, 10 years ago, she wrote 5 years ago, she wrote, right before she died, struggling with all the same stuff and how she thought about it. It was about what she thought about herself. These little notes in this God jar she had, there were a lot the same, and I thought, isn't this what I do? I tend to struggle with the same stuff over and over again, and it's my thinking about it. It's not the situation. It's not, what's happening. It's about how I think about it. I know that when we focus on the future, we don't like where we're at. So you start to focus on the future because you don't like where you're at. And the intense pain or the suffering comes from wanting things to be different, denying what's real in your life today and not being in the present. So years wasted. How important is it in relation to life, She died at 57 years old. And I got a real realization into myself about how I do this same thing. That, I worry about the money. And, it's not that there's not enough. It's the fear in the future there's not going to be enough. It's not my present reality. Because in my present reality, my needs are met. I have enough. It's the fear of the future. And I gain anxiety and suffering from that. The fear of the future. Or I don't like where I'm at and wished it would be like it used to be. And that's ruminating on the past. Or things that happened in the past. And I am fighting what's today. I resist being in the present. And whatever I resist will persist. And if I am resisting that I think I don't have enough money, I'll use that as an example, that I don't have enough money, and I resist that, and I stay in the state of wanting, the state of wanting just makes me want. There's no freedom or peace in that. So I have to move out of that and into non-resistant. Because if I resist it, it will persist. I will keep getting what I've got because my thinking usually comes from irrational beliefs or fears. And then I think it, and then I suffer. And then my thinking drives my feelings and my behavior. So I create the same pattern over and over and over again. And then I'm doing another inventory, talking about what he did, or, my husband says something and it hurts my feelings. It's not that he said something that hurt my feelings. It's what I think or feel about it. And that's really hard to start grasping because, I want my environment to change. I want more money in my bank account. I want people to act right. I want to not have to deal with limitations of getting older. And the suffering that I feel in the present moment is because I'm not in the present moment. I read the book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle years ago. Still rings true today. The real suffering comes from when I am not in the present moment. And I really, really could read between the lines of these pages that my friend wrote. I shredded a lot of stuff yesterday, but I felt for her, of the wasted years and to die at such an early age. She's no longer suffering, I know that. And yet, can I learn from this? Can I take some of this into my psyche and really dissect it? To stop fighting everything and everyone, to stop being in denial of my reality, and to embrace the now. I like what in that book it talks about. If you take the word now and turn it around, it spells won. You've won. If you cease the struggle and you accept what your circumstances are. Now that doesn't mean you just don't take any action or anything, but if it's something you can change, to take the action, to have the courage. But if you can't change it, then to accept it and to be grateful for it. I can't be grateful and hateful in the same present moment. I have a choice. I would like to choose gratitude. I got real grateful yesterday. I was grateful for the friendship of this friend. I was grateful that I was trusted with her innermost thoughts. And I knew all that stuff anyway. But yet, to really be faced with it in my reality time and cleaning that stuff out from someone else, and then it makes me want to clean all my stuff out, I don't want somebody to have to read the stuff that repeatedly I struggled with. And I immediately want to go and, try to the behavior, that comes from this, whether it's perfectionism, whether it's worry, anxiety, stress, I will overthink stuff. Those are the behaviors that come from the beliefs and the thinking. So I have to channel my thinking toward the new and pick one area that I'm going to incorporate some new thinking. And I might have to dig a little deeper to uncover the belief under the thinking. You know, the belief that somehow I'm going to lose what I have, or I'm not going to get what I want. And those two things can rob me of being in the present moment, to live fully, enjoy life where I'm at, and that there are so many things to be grateful for. So many things in my life to be grateful for. I miss my friend a lot. I miss her a lot. It's been almost 4 months. And yet, I want to remember her in my heart and be grateful for the friendship we had. And it's kind of one of those days. It's a year ago today that I lost my mom. And I am grateful for the Christian influence my mother was in my life. And it's all how I think about it. If I want to, you know, think about the fact that I don't have my mother anymore, or do I want to think about the fact that God gave me a very godly mother? I'm going to think the latter. Anyway, I'm going to post the video I made about my mother earlier this year, and you can watch that. And I hope that you really become aware of your thinking. It drives the bus. It drives the bus. If you like what I share here, please subscribe. Hit the like button. Share this with somebody you might think needs to hear about their thinking. And the most important part is to remember to be you on purpose.